next section looks at disability inclusion. So across all our partners, we have a target to reach 4% of all of our youth leaders and youth peers being youth with disabilities. Some of our YSO and YLO partners are going to be led by people with disabilities themselves. And these organizations often provide specialized support to these individuals. They have strong backgrounds in advocating for these communities and for providing really tailored experiences. So it might be the case that these partners are reaching 100% of their participants being people with disabilities within their cohorts. But we are aiming for all partners to be building their capacity in disability inclusion and ensuring that we are leaving no one behind in our approaches. We know that young people with disabilities, especially young women, face increased barriers to their digital and economic inclusion. And this is due to really deeply rooted cultural norms and stigma, and that can restrict their rights, their relationships, and opportunities that they have to build their knowledge, their skills, their experience. And these barriers are shaped by their specific experiences of their disability. So no experiences are exactly the same. And also the local realities in their communities. So experiences of someone living in an urban center versus in a smaller, very remote rural community can greatly vary. What we do see is stigma against people with disabilities and low levels of confidence among youth who are people with disabilities, as well as limited support for people with disabilities to be leaders and to be, for example, facilitating training. There are increased safeguarding risks, including potentially neglect or exploitation by caregivers. And there's also increased accessibility barriers given local infrastructure and limited access to resources that could potentially be used to access things like assistive technologies. Participants will then watch a short video that is featuring MasterCard Foundation youth discussing the barriers they face, but also their incredible capacity as well. And so going beyond takes an equity approach to really deeply understand the barriers that people with disabilities face and to build accessibility for different disabilities into the way we've designed and implemented this project and built these considerations in. We also want to work in collaboration with YSO and YLO partners that are serving and being led by people with disabilities so that we can ensure learning is being shared and that we're co-designing best practices for inclusive learning opportunities with people with disabilities themselves. Considerations for the accessibility of all planned interventions for people with disabilities has been mainstreamed throughout our gender strategy. So at all points, the intention is that all activities are meant to take this inclusive lens and assess accessibility and inclusion at every point. And DOT and our YSO and YLO partners will continue to co-design and strengthen these best practices for working with people with disabilities by creating opportunities to gather feedback, by learning from implementation, and by ensuring we are iterating and taking that feedback on and actioning it in meaningful ways.